Where to start? So this last week was Outreach Prep Week. As a DTS, as an entire school, we moved out to YWAM-Madison's training center in the countryside, and original plans did not quite go as planned as the week progressed. We had one of our leaders get COVID, and they had been in contact with us, so then we were then trying to figure out if the students were still able to go on outreach. It was also just challenging because me and two other young staff were the main ones with the students that week, and the main ones running the school and doing all of the things like the classes and the workshops on how to do dramas, how to do skits. Me and my sister Amy ended up being the ones to lead that workshop of dramas, even though neither of us had ever done that before. And we had 30 minutes before we did the workshop, a 2-hour workshop, to look over the notes that our leader had left and wing it. Thank you, Jesus. It was so cool. As a whole DTS, this week was very stretching and also challenging for me personally because I had to very unexpectedly pick up a lot more responsibility for different things. And while it was exhausting at different times, it was also super invigorating and made me be super reliant on the Lord, as well as working with the dramas and the students in the skits, as well as being a support staff to our outreach leaders. So I was able to support the school in ways that I hadn't been able to previously, and it was a huge gift to be able to serve them. I think we can often forget what God has done in the past and the testimonies that He's given us in our lives until we come to hard places again, and we have to remember those things. One of the things this summer that I just was not expecting going into it, I was grieving leaving a community that I had been living in for 2 years. I wasn't expecting to find such good community again in the short period of time that I was home. And God was so faithful and really deeply connected me with the students, with the staff. And I think that's something that I really love about God, is that He, even as we go different places in our lives or in missions and we're traveling all over, even as we leave people behind and we're going to new places, God's always faithful to bring the people that we need in our lives at the times that we need them and bring us into other people's lives when they need us. God expanded my heart so much for new people, and I wasn't expecting Him to do that, so it was beautiful. I'm really going to miss the students and miss the summer, but I also feel like the Lord has really brought closure to my season of being at home. Honestly, this summer has been so much better than I ever expected or anticipated. I think the transition home from England was tough in, several different normal ways, where I was grieving the community that I left, and I was also being at home but still knowing that I was going to be in transition and that I wouldn't be moving to somewhere permanent for another 3 months. God has been really faithful to provide support this summer and to help me in fundraising, even though it's very different than times that I've done in the past, but everyone has always told me that it's always very different. Staffing in the DTS this summer was very growing for me as a leader because it forced me in many ways out of my comfort zone, but it was also just really cool and encouraging to be able to encourage other young people and disciple other young people in their walk with the Lord. The next 2.5 weeks I have to prepare before I move to YWAM Kansas City, which is actually in Missouri, barely, but it's there, to work with Island Breeze, a cultural performing arts dance ministry group. It's basically outreach full-time. You're traveling, you're on the road, you're doing different events and evangelism times and worship times. You're constantly going. I'm starting to get excited for of my life, it's really strange that it's already here. It feels like the summer I just blinked and then we're here. I want to thank everyone who has been partnering with me on this journey through prayer and through finances. I'm so excited to step into this next season with God and with you, and I hope you enjoyed this different update. Until next time.